Before looking at the examples, let's examine what we can see from the outside first. He evaluates the outside information according to his own experiences in a goal-oriented and practical way. He is neat, practical, and realistic. He doesn't seem to be realizing the emotional state of other people and providing them some kind of support. He is so deeply attached to his inner world, self, desires, and past. He mostly multiplies an idea by applying and integrating it into different concepts and explanations. Analyzing with examples. Example 1. How I Found My Type as an INFJ by Harry Murrel on his channel Cognitive Personality.
So this week I decided to do something a bit more informal. I wanted to give people a breakdown of how I, as an INFJ, found my type and hopefully start what's going to be a fairly infrequent series of sort of my thoughts, and then you can also use this sort of style to facilitate kind of interview formats as well, so you can see me interacting with other types, see the reactions, see the kind of the affinity, see the like clashes, see the vibes.
Analyzing of this part. He informs the audience in advance the format of and what will happen in the video. That is something related to the comfort of a known and expected experience, and not wanting unorganized and surprising things. So his underlying intention isn't flexible. It's about organizing personal experiences into something structured and useful for others. This reflects T's focus on clarity and utility, combined with SI's tendency to draw from past experience and create familiar, reliable frameworks. Even the phrase "kind of interview formats" shows SI at work categorizing and labeling experiences in an orderly way. Also, his run-on sentence structure style shows the effect of NE with its fluid idea-jumping style. Example 2. How I Found My Type as an INFJ by Harry Murrel on his channel Cognitive Personality.
We're going to do as little edits as possible, but don't take my word on that one because I'm still fairly unused to this whole talking to the camera thing. For the purpose of this video, I just want to break down, for as long as it takes to break it down, how I came to find my type, because it was a fairly arduous process. A type description on the internet that's somewhat inaccurate isn't describing how that type manifests within their unique case. So, when I was about 15 or 16, it was one of those two ages, I did a type test, and unsurprisingly, you might find, I got an INTJ result. Before that, I was a fairly idealistic, sort of dreamlike child. I was pretty self-indulgent. I just wanted to be left alone. It wasn't that I was kind and sensitive and empathetic, and I've developed my own patterns of thinking, and I've always been someone who sought the truth. If you're someone who stands up for the truth and stands up for what you regard as logical, occasionally at the expense of the feelings and sensitivities of other people. Between the ages of 15 and 23, I was finding myself on my own terms, as you do. I was, becoming more sociable. I was a musician. I was becoming more sociable. I was a musician at the time, and I was going to university, studying music and whatnot, building a YouTube channel which was doing fairly well, and my interests were elsewhere. When I was 23, I did some tests again, and I got INTJ results mostly, but I did a few over the course of a few months, and a couple of times I got INTP as well. The reason being is that I was fairly unconscientious at the time.
Analyzing of this part, if a person tells the story of how he found his type as he goes back to the very beginning of the subject, and tells most of detail of his life process concretely, instead of making an intuitive abstract analysis, it is understood that he is not using his intuitive function as first. He describes his journey of discovering his type in a structured and chronological way, occasionally referencing his internal emotional experiences. A strong orientation toward personal memory and ordered experience is a clear hallmark of SI. On the other hand, his deep interest in discovering himself is a sign of FI. He does not present as emotionally expressive or outwardly empathetic, so his feeling function is not in priority. Him remembering of himself being an idealistic, dream-like child and self-indulgent suggests an internal value system and a preference for emotional independence, which comes from the presence of FI. His earlier desire to be left alone and pursue personal interests shows behavior guided by internal motivations, that means FI, rather than social expectations. But the statement of choosing truth over the feelings of others shows that his T function is dominant over Phi function. His personal reflections on his developments and achievements to understand his flow show his SI analyzing and collecting information from his memories. His causalization of things and results-oriented approach show a T-driven desire to bring structure and efficiency to problem solving and to make sense of the external world. He does this also by comparing outside knowledge with his own experiences. So, his alternative system CPT is a product of this approach. He occasionally takes his subjects and ideas from different perspective. His remembering the other matters when going through the main topic strongly suggests him using SINE functions. This brings much more scattered and varied approach, rather than NI functions focused approach. Also, his frequently use of wide variation of wording is an indication of NE, and the desire to be authentic is closely associated with FI function. He shows not dominant but subtle, picking of different possible ideas while telling his story, and as he speaks, one topic leads to another, which is a habit of NE function.